In a world that increasingly emphasizes instant gratification and the pursuit of pleasure, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a compelling counter-narrative. A Stoic view on masculinity doesn't conform to societal expectations based on dominance, sexual prowess, or physical strength, but rather revolves around self-control, virtue, and the mastery of one's own desires. One of the most pressing aspects of this philosophy is its approach to sexuality. In modern times, the urge for sexual gratification can easily become a driving force in one's life, but the Stoic philosopher argues that surrendering control to such impulses strips away true masculinity. To be controlled by desire, rather than exercising mastery over it, is to lose sight of the very essence of manhood. 1. The Stoic foundations. Control over desires. At the core of Stoicism is the idea that we should differentiate between what is in our control and what is not. This simple but profound distinction is the cornerstone of the Stoic worldview. Our desires, including sexual ones, fall under the category of things we can control. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes when we are no longer slaves to our own passions. In their eyes, desires are not inherently bad, but they must be disciplined and examined for their role in our lives. The Stoics held that if we cannot control our desires, we will never be free, as they will constantly dictate our actions, steering us away from rational decisions and true fulfillment. Epictetus, one of the foremost Stoic philosophers, emphasized that freedom is the only true possession. He explained that while external circumstances are often beyond our control, we always have the power to regulate our inner world, our thoughts, actions, and desires. This ability to control one's internal state is what separates human beings from animals, and it is the hallmark of true strength. A man who is ruled by his sexual desires is, in essence, not living freely, but rather living under the thumb of his impulses. 2. Sexuality and masculinity. In today's society, masculinity is often defined by physical power, sexual dominance, and the ability to control others. The media, entertainment, and even social structures often present masculinity as being synonymous with the conquest of women or the demonstration of sexual prowess. However, the Stoics propose a radically different kind of masculinity, one defined not by dominance or the number of sexual conquests, but by inner strength, moral fortitude, and self-mastery. For a Stoic, true masculinity doesn't lie in the ability to satisfy every whim or indulge in lustful desires. Instead, it is found in the ability to transcend one's impulses and live in accordance with reason. A man who is ruled by his sexual desires is, in essence, not living as a true man. He is allowing a base instinct to guide his actions, rather than virtue, reason, or purpose. The Stoics believed that the true measure of masculinity is the ability to remain calm, focused, and disciplined in the face of life's challenges, including the most primal urges. True manhood lies not in indulging every temptation, but in being able to rise above them. In this sense, the Stoic man is not bound by societal expectations that link masculinity to sexual exploits. Rather, his masculinity is based on his capacity to master his desires, to act with wisdom, and to pursue excellence in all aspects of life. This form of masculinity is not about impressing others with physical prowess or sexual conquest, but about building a life grounded in virtue, integrity, and strength of character. The power of sexual self-control. Sexual self-control is not about repression or denial, but about understanding the transient nature of pleasure and the greater goal of virtuous living. The Stoic view does not call for complete celibacy or the rejection of sexual relationships altogether, but rather advocates for a balanced and rational approach to sexuality. The Stoics argued that while sex can be a natural and fulfilling part of life, it should never become an obsession or a source of disruption in one's quest for virtue. Seneca, another influential Stoic philosopher, often emphasized the importance of moderation in all things. He wrote that excess in any form, including sexual indulgence, leads to the erosion of virtue and self-control. A man who allows himself to be controlled by his sexual urges risks losing his capacity for rational thought and meaningful action. In the Stoic view, the pursuit of pleasure, including sexual pleasure, should never come at the expense of one's moral compass or the pursuit of a virtuous life. The Stoic man must learn to navigate life's pleasures with the wisdom that comes from understanding their fleeting nature and not allowing them to overshadow more important pursuits. The Stoic practice of self-control requires constant awareness and vigilance. A Stoic man is ever mindful of the dangers of excess, including in the realm of sexuality. He does not seek to suppress his desires, but instead seeks to understand them, recognize when they arise, and determine whether acting on them aligns with his values. In this way, Stoic sexual self-control is about ensuring that one's actions are in harmony with reason and virtue, rather than being swayed by impulse or desire. 4. Lust and the loss of reason. Lust is one of the most powerful and pervasive desires humans face. It can cloud judgment and lead individuals to make decisions they otherwise wouldn't. The Stoics believed that desires such as lust, when unchecked, could dominate a person's life and divert them from their higher purpose. When a man succumbs to lust, he surrenders his ability to reason and act according to his true nature. This is where the Stoics draw the line. Lust, if left unchecked, is not just an occasional indulgence, but a force that can take over one's life, distorting judgment and leading to decisions that undermine the pursuit of virtue. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This phrase can be applied to the Stoic view on lust. When we allow ourselves to be controlled by base desires, we become slaves to our impulses, in the same way that someone who harms us loses their moral integrity. Lust, in particular, distorts our ability to make sound judgments and leads us to act in ways that diminish our character. It is not simply an issue of sexual ethics, but an existential issue about the nature of manhood and the preservation of reason in a world full of distractions. For the Stoic, to live a virtuous life means to resist the temptation of lust and other passions. It means to act with integrity, to resist the pull of temporary pleasures, and to focus on long-term fulfillment, a fulfillment that comes from living virtuously and in harmony with nature. Lust diminishes a person's character and robs them of their autonomy, while self-control restores their sense of self-mastery and purpose. 5. How to achieve sexual mastery, according to Stoicism. So how can one achieve mastery over their sexual desires? The first step is awareness. The Stoic practice of mindfulness, which encourages individuals to be aware of their thoughts and actions, is crucial in the pursuit of self-control. This practice enables individuals to pause before acting on impulse, recognizing the underlying desire and choosing whether or not to act on it. By training the mind to recognize desires without automatically acting on them, one can begin to regain control over their impulses. Additionally, self-reflection is key. By regularly examining one's life and actions, a person can identify where they may be allowing impulses to govern them. The Stoics encourage individuals to constantly strive for improvement, setting aside moments of introspection to determine how they can better live in alignment with their values. This continual process of self-examination and self-discipline is what enables a Stoic to live a life of meaning rather than being driven by momentary desires. Furthermore, the Stoic practice of negative visualization, imagining the loss of pleasures and comforts, can help diminish the power of desire. By regularly considering how fleeting pleasures are and imagining the consequences of being controlled by them, a person can develop a stronger sense of detachment from them. This practice, in turn, allows one to gain mastery over their desires and live a more focused, intentional life. 6. The role of virtue and masculinity. For the Stoics, virtue is the highest good. This encompasses wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. A true man, in the Stoic sense, is not someone who seeks power, dominance, or sexual conquests, but someone who seeks to live virtuously and with purpose. The Stoics believe that the pursuit of virtue should be the guiding principle of one's life, and that all other desires, including sexual ones, should serve this greater goal. The Stoic perspective on sexuality offers a timeless lesson. A man who is controlled by his desires is not living in accordance with his true nature. True masculinity, from a Stoic point of view, is not about dominance, power, or indulgence, but about self-control, virtue, and reason. The Stoics teach us that by mastering our desires, including sexual ones, we reclaim our freedom and become the men we are meant to be. True masculinity is not about conquering others, but about conquering oneself.
Make yourself desirable. What makes a person truly desirable? Is it looks? Status? Wealth? Number desire is deeper than that. It's not about what you have, it's about who you are. People don't just want someone attractive, they want someone magnetic, someone rare, someone who moves differently. The secret? Stop seeking validation. Stop trying to impress. Instead, build yourself into someone so valuable, so confident, and so self-sufficient that others can't help but be drawn to you. Step 1. Master the power of presence. Most people go through life unnoticed. They blend in, they shrink themselves, but those who are truly desirable command attention without even trying. It starts with presence, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk into a room, the way you make others feel when you're around. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't seek approval. It simply exists. Stand tall. Speak with intention. Look people in the eye. When you move with certainty, people take notice. Step 2. Become unpredictable. Nothing kills desire faster than being predictable. When people can read you like a book, there's no mystery, no intrigue. Desire thrives in curiosity. Don't be available all the time. Don't say yes to everything. Keep people guessing. Leave conversations unfinished. Disappear for a while and come back stronger. When people never fully have you, they crave more of you. Step 3. Build a life that excites you. You can't be desirable if you're not inspired by your own life. The most magnetic people are those who are deeply passionate about something, who wake up every day with a sense of purpose. Find what drives you. Chase your goals relentlessly. The more you invest in yourself, the less you need validation from others. And ironically, that's when people start valuing you more. Step 4. Control your energy. Desirable people don't give their energy to just anyone. They are selective. They protect their peace. Don't be the person who overshares, overreacts, or overextends. Keep your emotions in check. Be calm under pressure. When you control your energy, people respect you. They admire your restraint. They see you as someone who is rare, someone who doesn't waste time on what doesn't serve them. Step 5. Know when to walk away. Scarcity creates value. If you're always there, always available, always chasing, you become ordinary. But when you know your worth, when you have the power to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you, you instantly become more desirable. People want what they can't have. They crave what feels just out of reach. So never be afraid to leave. Never be afraid to choose yourself first. When you do, you shift the dynamic. You become the one who is chased, not the one who chases. Conclusion: become the rarity. Being desirable isn't about playing games. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. So confident, so self-sufficient, so intriguing that people naturally gravitate toward you. Work on your presence. Keep a sense of mystery. Build a life that excites you, protect your energy, and never be afraid to walk away. When you do this, you won't have to seek attention. Attention will find you. Because rarity is what makes something truly desirable.
Walking alone. The best choice you can make. In a world that constantly tells you to fit in, to be surrounded by people, and to seek validation from others, there is a forgotten truth. Walking alone is often the best choice you can make. The strongest individuals, the ones who carve their own paths, understand that solitude is not loneliness. It is power. It is freedom. It is the space where you truly meet yourself. Step 1. Embrace the power of solitude. Most people fear being alone. They attach their worth to social circles, relationships, and external approval. But true strength comes from within. When you walk alone, you develop a deep connection with yourself. You stop relying on others for happiness, for direction, for purpose. Solitude is where clarity is born. It's where you strip away the noise of the world and listen to your own thoughts. It's where you grow without distractions, where you build a mind that is unshaken by outside opinions. The moment you stop fearing solitude, you step into true power. Step 2. Independence creates strength. When you rely on others too much, you become weak. You make compromises you shouldn't. You tolerate things that don't serve you. But when you walk alone, you rely only on yourself. You make your own choices. You create your own path. And you develop an unbreakable sense of self. The greatest minds in history, philosophers, warriors, leaders, spent large portions of their lives in solitude. They understood that independence sharpens the mind. It forces you to think critically, to solve problems on your own, and to cultivate resilience. When you stand on your own 2 feet, you are unshakable. Step 3. Walking alone means walking with purpose. People who follow the crowd rarely go far. They get lost in distractions and gossip and meaningless pursuits. But those who walk alone move with purpose. They know where they are going. They don't waste time on pointless social validation. When you walk alone, you create space for your own ambitions. You focus on your goals without interference. You set your own standards. You push yourself beyond limits. Because you're not waiting for approval. You're not waiting for company. You're leading your own life. Step 4. You become selective with your energy. Walking alone doesn't mean you reject people. It means you choose carefully. You don't waste time on meaningless connections. You don't surround yourself with those who drain your energy or pull you down. Instead, you value your time, your peace, your mental clarity. When you walk alone, you realize that not everyone deserves access to you. Your energy is valuable. You don't need to be around people just to feel validated. You choose quality over quantity. And when you do let someone in, it's because they truly add value to your journey. Step 5. Solitude builds an unbreakable mindset. When you walk alone, you face challenges head-on. You don't look for a safety net. You don't expect someone to save you. You take full responsibility for your life, and that makes you unstoppable. You learn to handle failures without falling apart. You develop emotional control. You become self-reliant. You build a mind that doesn't break under pressure, a spirit that doesn't crumble in adversity. While others seek comfort in the crowd, you find strength in standing alone. Step 6. Walking alone brings freedom. Freedom is the ability to move through life on your own terms. When you walk alone, you owe nothing to anyone. You're not bound by expectations, by peer pressure, or by societal norms. You make your own choices. You design your own life. Most people are afraid of freedom because it comes with responsibility. But when you embrace it, you unlock a life of true fulfillment. No compromises, no limitations. Just pure, unfiltered authenticity. Conclusion: the strength of walking alone. Walking alone is not about isolation. It's about self-mastery. It's about becoming so confident, so self-sufficient, so unshakable that you never need anyone, but you choose who you allow into your life. When you walk alone, you move with purpose. You value your time. You build resilience. You become selective with your energy. And most importantly, you find true freedom. So stop fearing solitude. Stop seeking constant validation. Walk alone. Lead your own path. And watch as the world follows your lead.
Don't waste your seed, the power of retention. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, discipline is rare. And one of the greatest tests of discipline, mastering your own energy, your own essence. The truth is, your seed is more than just biology. It's life force. It's power. And wasting it mindlessly weakens you, drains your potential, and keeps you stuck in mediocrity. The strongest men throughout history, warriors, philosophers, kings, knew this. They understood that the key to power, success, and influence wasn't found in indulgence. It was found in self-control. And if you want to unlock your full potential, you must learn this truth for yourself. Step 1. Energy is power. Your seed isn't just a physical substance. It carries your energy, your focus, your drive. Every time you waste it mindlessly, you deplete yourself. You weaken your ambition. You dull your edge. Think of it like fire. When contained, fire gives warmth, cooks food, forges steel. But when uncontrolled, it destroys everything in its path. Your energy works the same way. Retain it, and you build strength. Waste it, and you lose your sharpness, your focus, your will to dominate in life. Step 2. Control separates the strong from the weak. Weak men seek comfort. They give in to every impulse, every distraction, every momentary pleasure. But strong men understand that true power comes from control, from knowing when to act and when to hold back. This isn't about deprivation, it's about mastery. When you take control of your urges, you stop being ruled by them. You develop iron discipline. You move differently. You radiate confidence. You command respect. Because the world can sense a man who is in control of himself. Step 3. Retention fuels success. Look at history. The greatest warriors, leaders, and thinkers were not men of excess. They were men of focus. Men who understood that their energy was sacred, that their power came from within. When you retain, your body rewards you. Your testosterone rises. Your energy increases. Your mind becomes sharper. You feel stronger, more alive, more driven. Suddenly, you're not wasting hours in weakness. You're using that time to build, to create, to conquer. Step 4. Women sense the difference. Women are drawn to strength, to confidence, to the rare energy of a man who is not desperate, who is not chasing, who is not easily swayed by temptation. When you retain, you carry yourself differently. You become more attractive, not just in looks, but in presence. You exude control, purpose, and a quiet dominance that is impossible to fake. Women don't chase men who waste themselves. They chase men who are rare, who have value, who command respect without saying a word. Step 5. Your mission comes first. A man without a mission is lost. If you spend your time chasing pleasure instead of chasing purpose, you will never build anything meaningful. But when you redirect your energy, when you channel it into your goals, your health, your craft, You become unstoppable. Success requires sacrifice. The weak sacrifice their future for momentary pleasure. The strong sacrifice temporary indulgence for long-term greatness. Which one will you be? Step 6. The mindset of a warrior. This isn't just about retention, it's about a way of life, a way of thinking. A warrior doesn't indulge in weakness. A warrior sharpens his mind. He controls his desires. He directs his power towards something greater than himself. When you master this, you stop being like the rest. You rise above. You separate yourself from the weak, from the distracted, from the lost. You become a force that cannot be ignored. Conclusion: keep your power. Your seed is not just biology. It's life energy. It's strength. It's the foundation of your ambition, your success, your legacy. Stop wasting it. Stop giving in to weakness. Retain your power. Master yourself. And watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined.
Learn to live without anyone. What if I told you that true strength begins the moment you stop depending on others? That the less you need, the more powerful you become? The Stoics understood this well. They knew that self-sufficiency is the foundation of resilience, that the ability to stand alone is the ultimate form of freedom. Step 1. Understand that you are alone. The first step to true independence is accepting a simple truth. At the end of the day, you are alone. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you anything. People will leave, circumstances will change, and if your happiness depends on others, you will always live in fear of loss. Seneca once wrote, "A wise man is content with himself, not because he rejects others, but because he does not need them to feel whole." When you stop expecting, you stop being disappointed. When you stop relying, you start living. Step 2. Build inner strength. Most people fear being alone because they have never learned to enjoy their own company. They drown their silence with distractions. They chase validation. But a Stoic embraces solitude, using it to sharpen his mind and discipline his soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Instead of fearing solitude, use it. Meditate, reflect. Train your mind to be your strongest ally, not your greatest enemy. If you can stand alone, you can stand against anything. Step 3. Stop seeking validation. Most people live for approval. They want to be liked, admired, accepted. But a Stoic understands that the opinions of others are outside his control and therefore meaningless. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Detach from the need to impress. Detach from the desire to be understood. The moment you stop seeking validation, you become untouchable. The world loses its power over you." Step 4. Prepare for loss. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is memento mori, the reminder that everything is temporary. People will leave, friendships will fade, loved ones will pass. If you are not prepared for this, you will suffer. Seneca advised practicing premeditation of evils, imagining loss before it happens, so that when it does, you are ready. Not because you do not care, but because you refuse to be controlled by attachment. If today you lost everything, your job, your friends, your reputation, would you still stand, or would you crumble? A true Stoic builds himself so that no loss can break him. Step 5. Find purpose in action, not people. Most people attach their purpose to others, to relationships, to social status, to external validation. But a Stoic knows that purpose must come from within. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "Do what nature demands." Your purpose is not to be liked, Your purpose is not to be understood. Your purpose is to act, to create, to improve, to endure. Focus on what you can control, your work, your growth, your discipline. Let everything else fade into the background. Step 6. Accept, adapt, advance. Life is unpredictable. People will come and go. Circumstances will change. But the Stoic remains unshaken. He does not resist change. He adapts. He does not cling. He advances. Every time you face loss, remind yourself, I am enough. I do not need anything outside of myself to be whole. I accept. I adapt. I advance. Conclusion. The power of walking alone. To learn to live without anyone is not to reject the world. It is to free yourself from dependence. It is to walk through life knowing that you are whole, that you do not need anyone, and that your strength is yours alone. Detach from fear, detach from need, and in doing so, you will find the ultimate power, the power of a mind that cannot be broken, the power of a soul that stands tall, no matter what, because the one who can walk alone will never be afraid again.